Good evening, it's 8 o'clock. The top headlines tonight. Will the Modi 2.0 cabinet reshuffle finally happen soon? Final touches are being put on the new Modi cabinet. NDTV learns amongst the probable names are BJP General Secretary Bhupendra Yadav, ex-Chief Minister Sonowal, BJP leader Jyotiraditya Scindia and others. Focus, however, will also be on the 5 coal-bound states. First, petrol, diesel are now 25 rupees hike in cooking gas cylinders. Meanwhile, high costs overall lead to a hike in milk prices as well. From 2014 to 2021, full circle on Mehengai Ki Maar. COVID cases and deaths are showing a gradual increase. Kerala, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu remain as the top 3 states with highest cases. Uttarakhand is now the highest in number of deaths. Vaccinations continue to be down from last week for the second day. No vaccinations today at Mumbai government centres as stocks run out. In Uttar Pradesh, people get the certificates but not the vaccine. 18 months in jail. Now Akhil Gogoi is free. Terror charges against him are dismissed. The court says, the Special Anti-Terror Court, that blockade with no incitement to physical violence cannot come under terrorism. The judge also adds that there is a risk of diluting the focus of the anti-terror law if you focus on crimes like this rather than actual terrorism. Akhil Gogoi won his election from jail, now says he will fight against the anti-terror law, the UAPA. Heatwave in North India, Agra and Delhi are both over 43 degrees, likely to continue for 2 more days, but the weather department says the monsoon will be normal in July. And led by the Prime Minister, India thanks our doctors. Our lead story, however, is what we are breaking right now tonight. Akhilesh has the latest on, the first cabinet reshuffle of the Modi government's second innings. Akhilesh, what are the details you have?
Well, the sources are indicating that there's a strong possibility that by Sunday we may see expansion of the Modi cabinet and some new faces are likely to be inducted, keeping in mind the upcoming elections in the 5 states. Especially if you talk about the Uttar Pradesh, there is a talk that Varun Gandhi, Rita Bahuguna Joshi, they can be included. And there are senior leaders like Sarvanand Sonowal and Jyotiraditya Scindia, who was promised a cabinet berth when he broke the Congress party in Madhya Pradesh and gave the BJP his government back in the state. So he's also been promised a cabinet berth. He's already a Rajya Sabha member. Narayan Rane, who switched over from Shiv Sena to BJP, he's a Rajya Sabha member and he's a former Chief Minister of Maharashtra. He's also being talked about as a senior cabinet berth for him. And we know that there are 9 ministers in the cabinet, Sonia, who are holding more than one portfolio. So there's a talk that their burden should be lessened and this responsibility should be given to others. Then there is another problem with the BJP is facing, that in the entire Union Council of Ministers, only one from allies, that is RPIA, Ramdas Athawale is there. So other allies like JDU and Apna Dal, they are being ignored for the past 2 years. So there is a talk that they may also be given representation, especially Apna Dal. Anupriya Patel had already meeting with the Amit Shah few days back. So these all are the issues which are being discussed, and of course Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh, where these 2 key states where the BJP is holding power, and also West Bengal, because BJP wants to send a message to the West Bengal voters and also party workers that is keeping their interests also in mind. So some more representation to West Bengal is also likely to be there.
And of course, Akhilesh, but one thing reporters know, that with this government, that speculating is often very, very dangerous for health. So right now, these are just probables. The final list still being worked out, because this has been a well-planned exercise. We've seen the Prime Minister himself review ministries, speak to senior ministers. So it's actually a well-thought-out, researched exercise which you're saying is likely to happen soon.
It was a mammoth exercise, Sonia. In fact, some meetings went on for 5 hours and there was a freewheeling discussion. It was like a more corporate kind of style of interaction where every minister and leaders were, they were free to express their views. And there were some casual comments about their performance also by the Prime Minister. Their presentations were made and there was discussion between the party and the government and also between the RSS and the BJP. Some feedback from the RSS was also invited, and we know that a series of presentations was going on for the past 15 days or so. Right. And this is typical Prime Minister Modi's style. When he was Chief Minister of Gujarat, that point of time also, whenever the cabinet expansion exercise was to be taken, he had this mammoth exercise, a detailed, extensive exercise where the feedback was taken, the report card was ready, and the similar exercise is being taken in center also.
So a very corporate style exercise, but with the finger on the political pulse as the main thing. But as I said, health warnings, that it's better not to speculate with this government. But thanks so much for that. For really that information you've got from reliable sources. Let's see how it eventually turns out. But let's just look at what really is the other huge headline, and this is what's happening with inflation. Now, as we know that inflation has gone up, retail inflation already in May has exceeded the RBI's comfort zone. Wholesale inflation also at 12.9%. That's the highest, well, this century. But so we know inflation is already very high. The latest, of course, the blow in a sense is that cooking gas prices have gone up by 25 rupees. That's after the recent hikes we saw in petrol and diesel as well. So have we come full circle from 2014 when Prime Minister Modi actually came into power riding on high inflation at 2021 where we are facing even higher prices now? Let's take a look at that and today.
पेट्रोल डीजल के दाम हर बार बढ़ते गए तो स्कूटर खड़ा कर दिया, बस से चलने लगे।
गया का भाड़ा 100 रुपए लिया जाता था, अभी 200 डायरेक्ट।
तेल देख ही रहे हैं आप, डीजल पेट्रोल सब आसमान छूता चला जा रहा है।
तो ये सरकार में तो कम होना चाहिए था, लेकिन ये सरकार तो अब तो मानेगा नहीं। अब तो हम लोग को लगता है कि अब 400-500 रुपए लीटर कर दे तो बढ़िया रहेगा।
पढ़ाई लिखाई के खर्चों ने हमारी जेबें खाली कर दी, फिर भी मन मारकर काम चलाया। पर जब रोज रोज की हर जरूरत की चीजों के दाम लगातार बढ़ते जाएंगे तो हम अपने बच्चों का भविष्य कैसे बनाएंगे? उन्हें क्या खिलाएंगे?
कहीं कुछ कमाई है नहीं, तो अब ये रेट बढ़ते रहेंगे तो कहाँ से आदमी चलाएगा आदमी? अभी 2 किलो दूध लेते थे 1 किलो लेना पड़ेगा।
रसोई गैस इसने तो आसमान छू लिए हैं।
यहाँ पे जीना मुश्किल है, सैलरियाँ कम होती आ रही हैं और प्राइसेस बढ़ते आ रहे हैं। बताइए गरीब कहाँ बचेगा?
महंगाई को लगातार बढ़ाने वालों जनता माफ नहीं करेगी।
चलो हालात बदले, देश की सरकार बदले, भाजपा को वोट दे, अब की बार मोदी सरकार।
In Lucknow, double trouble for 25-year-old tea seller Pintu Kumar, with both milk and LPG prices up. It means a 700 rupee markup in monthly expenses for Pintu. Bad news at a time when business is erratic and savings already wiped out.
लगा लिया धंधा कैसे चलेगा?
तो मतलब आप 4 सिलेंडर एक तरह से एक महीने में यूज कर रहे हैं।
12 लीटर दूध लग जाता है डेली।
A 45-year-old gardener in Delhi has come up with a grim solution to inflation.
बच्चों का दूध भी रोका जाएगा। अब जब महंगा हो जाएगा तो अब तनख्वाह उतनी की उतनी है, अगर खर्चा ज्यादा बढ़ेगा तो रोक तो लगानी पड़ेगी खर्चे पे।
Raju, who runs a small eatery in South Delhi, says with everyone losing jobs, increasing prices is not an option for him.
गैस के पैसे बढ़ने से, तेल के पैसे बढ़ने से काफी फर्क पड़ा है।
Cooking gas prices have gone up by 140 rupees in the last 6 months, and this latest hike is 25.5 rupees on non-subsidized cylinders. And India's largest dairy brand Amul has spiked its milk prices by 2 rupees a litre. 60-year-old Indra and her 73-year-old husband Viswan have just recovered from COVID, and now they have to face daily shrinking profits as they resume selling dosa and tea. Pensioners have been hit hard as well. In Bhopal, this senior citizen says it's increasingly difficult to manage the kitchen budget.
I use 6 cylinders in a year, but still it becomes very difficult.
After a 2-month break due to the lockdown, Prem Sagar reopened his poha stall barely 10 days ago, and now he's been hit by the cooking gas price hike.
पहले हम 400-500 रुपए कमाते हैं, अब बिल्कुल भी 100-150 रुपए कमा बड़ी मुश्किल से पाते हैं अब।
Already struggling from the economic impact of COVID, can the common man deal with yet another financial setback? NNDTV Bureau Report.
Well, let's look at the other news, the COVID data. Well, there is a gradual increase in cases and deaths, and this is something we need to watch closely. We're at 48,786, 6% higher than yesterday. Deaths now are up by 23%. Now, also there's been some reconciliation of earlier deaths, but that's still a high number, about 1,000 again. Tests are pretty much the same. The daily positivity rate is also relatively the same. But let's just look at the states with the highest case and deaths, because that's where we really need to keep an eye on it. Well, if you look at that, Kerala is the highest, and again cases are up by 100. Maharashtra is still number 2. Maharashtra dominating numbers. Again, cases here are up by 108. Tamil Nadu, cases down by 6, but still a high number of 4,500. Andhra Pradesh is seeing a rise as well. In Karnataka, also a slight rise in cases. Let's look at deaths now. Remember now, compensation has been paid for COVID deaths, and the tally overall is near 4 lakhs. At Uttarakhand, in the last 24 hours, 221 deaths. That may be a reconciliation, but that's a high number. Kerala has 142 deaths in the last 24 hours. That's again a high number. Maharashtra 141, which is down, but Tamil Nadu 113, and then Karnataka 111. So that's exactly why it's so important that we need to keep focusing on vaccination, which has crossed 32 lakh doses today. That's of 730. So the numbers are better than yesterday, but the daily 7-day average is down from last week. That's roughly about 30% down from last week, and we can see the health minister has said that there are enough stocks being given. It's a state problem. But for instance, in Mumbai, India's commercial capital, government vaccination centers were closed today.
Today, once again, no vaccination, and these boards have been displayed outside government-run centers here in Mumbai, causing inconvenience to a lot of people.
The municipality announced last evening that there will be no vaccinations today, but not many people were aware. Sambhaji Parab took a chance in his lunch break.
मेरा स्लॉट अभी 30 तारीख को मेरा डेट है. मैंने आया तो मुझे स्लॉट भी नहीं मिल रहा. ऑनलाइन में चेक कर रहा था, तो इसलिए मैं आके बोला डायरेक्ट कुछ वॉकिंग है क्या देखने के लिए. अवेलेबल नहीं है करके बोला.
Vineet Mishra lives with 5 people in one room and works at a garment store. He has been trying to get vaccinated for a week. He too was disappointed.
कल परसों में भी आप बता रहे थे ट्राई किया आपने कि नहीं?
तो उधर माटुंगा रेलवे कॉलोनी के पास ट्राई किए थे. वहाँ 2 दिन लाइन लगाया नहीं था वैक्सीन. सुबह में 7 बजे से जो है 10 बजे तक 3 घंटे उधर
और 2 दिन खड़े रहे.
हाँ 2 दिन खड़े थे, वैक्सीन ही नहीं था.
But an entirely different story at private centers. Some, like Manju Grover and a daughter who was overdue for her second dose, were forced to come here because the free vaccines weren't available.
Again today we went, and they were not picking up the phone. We were calling again and again to check before going whether the vaccination is being done or not. But nobody was taking the phone call. And here they are saying 740 rupees, which is expensive.
Mumbai vaccinated the most people, 1.8 lakh on June 28th. More doses are expected in a day or two. Till date, 10 lakh people are fully vaccinated in the city, 8% of the total population.
Maharashtra government wants to vaccinate nearly 70% of the population before the third wave comes. But with this regular vaccine shortage, this seems to be now a Herculean task. In Mumbai with camera person Rajendra Dhyalkar, this is Purva Chitnis for NDTV.
And our special report from Uttar Pradesh, which has vaccinated 3 crore plus people so far. Now, that's a huge absolute number. It's a mammoth task, but the fraction of the population of UP, the percentage of that is still very low. Government officials say they want to vaccinate a record 10 crore people by the end of August. But feasibility aside, here's the question. Now in UP, reports are coming out of people saying that they're getting their certificates, but they haven't got the vaccination.
Two days ago, BJP politician Devendra Bharti, a corporator in Uttar Pradesh, Ghaziabad town, got this message saying that he and his son were vaccinated, even though only his wife has got the jab so far. Mr. Bharti and his family had visited a vaccination center on Monday in the NCR town, but vaccines ran out before everyone could get the jab.
ये साहब टिकट निकल के आया. अच्छा. और इसी में साथ मेरे बेटे का भी आया ये. अच्छा, जबकि दोनों लोगों को टीका नहीं लगा. दोनों लोगों को टीका नहीं लगा. अच्छा, तो और शिकायत आपने की कहीं? अब शिकायत तो मैं करूं, लेकिन जब सीएमओ साहब फोन ही नहीं उठाते.
Less than 50 kilometers away, Meerut resident Deepak Kumar has also got a message about his elderly mother's vaccination, except that she was ill and never went to hospital.
मैसेज और आता है, उस मैसेज में ये आता है कि आप अपना सर्टिफिकेट डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं, लेकिन मेरी मदर वहाँ गई नहीं. अच्छा. तो मैं इस चीज़ के लिए बहुत दुखी और परेशान हूँ कि जब टीका लगा ही नहीं तो ये सर्टिफिकेट इशू क्यों हुए?
The UP government says that action will be taken.
ऐसा कोई भी प्रमाण पत्र कोई जारी हुआ है और कोई गलती हुई है तो इस पर बहुत सख्त सजा दी जाएगी। मेरे संज्ञान में ये बात नहीं आई, आपके संज्ञान आई है तो मैं इस पर जांच करवाऊंगा।
UP has so far partly vaccinated 3 crore plus people of its massive 23 crore population. The state claims it will provide at least one jab to 10 crore people by the end of August. But are these the targets leading to undue pressure or mistakes? With Ravish Ranjan, Bureau Report, NDTV.
This after reports coming from Madhya Pradesh as well. But moving to another extremely important story, one we've been focusing on, the misuse of the tough anti-terror law, the UAPA. Today, in another case, Akhil Gogoi, who's an MLA and activist who was jailed for 18 months. He spent 18 months in jail. Today, walked free as a judge of the NIA. The anti-terror court said that he can't be charged with under this act because he said in this order that he can't be imputed with any incitement to violence. The judge added that protests and democracy are sometimes seen to take the form of a blockade which is causing inconvenience to citizens. However, it is doubtful whether such blockades for temporary periods, if unaccompanied by any incitement to violence, would actually constitute a terrorist act. The judge added that if the enforcement of this law gets stretched beyond permissible limits, then over a period of time, it might carry the risk of diluting the required continuous focus of the anti-terrorism law itself on the real terrorist crimes. Akhil Gogoi, who won an election from jail, has now said he will lead a campaign against the anti-terror law.
This UAPA is a Macronian black law. It must be revoked. I'll fight against this UAPA. I'll fight against this NIA Act, and I will try democratically to scrap this act, scrap this all the Macronian Act from Indian judiciary system.
How was it fighting elections from inside prison?
I think that this is a historic incident. People of Assam are not accepting CA. CA is an undemocratic, unconstitutional act. I will try my level best to make the voice in the assembly.
So released there after 18 months in jail, as the judge pointed out, his what his so-called crimes were did not warrant being under the anti-terror law. Meanwhile, the other big story, well, it's extremely hot in North India. Look at the heat wave now. The highest temperatures, well, Churu in Rajasthan at 44.4, followed by Sri Ganganagar. But Agra and Delhi both above 43 degrees. That's 6 degrees and 7 degrees higher than normal. Then, of course, places in UP, Aligarh and Bikaner, Rajasthan, Chandigarh, all there above normal. Amritsar also at 41. So what's actually stopped India's monsoon? It's actually been stuck from the 19th of July. Well, the Indian Weather Department today said the monsoon won't advance for the next 7 days, but the overall forecast for July is normal. The weak monsoon will prolong over Delhi and the rest of North India for 15 days. This could possibly impact agricultural operations like sowing, irrigation and power requirements. But there will be the normal monsoon throughout India to resume from the third week of July. But as we end the show tonight, let's end with our special tribute to all our doctors. Really doctors who've been unsung heroes, who worked so hard through not one but two waves and getting ready for possibly a third wave. Today, from COVID survivors to celebrities to the Prime Minister, India thanks our doctors.
मैं 130 करोड़ देशवासियों की ओर से देश के सभी डॉक्टर्स को धन्यवाद देता हूं, आभार प्रकट करता हूं। साथियों, डॉक्टर्स को ईश्वर का दूसरा रूप कहा जाता है।
अपनों को छोड़ के मौत के इलाके में उड़ के कफन चले, शुक्रिया दिल से 100 बार शुक्रिया।
घर में हम बेबस पड़े थे और तुम डट कर खड़े थे, याद है, याद है।
जो दिखे ना उस हवा से फौज बनकर तुम लड़े थे, याद है, याद है। जागी जागी आँखें से नींदें सभी नोच के भूल के कदम चले, शुक्रिया दूसरों के वास्ते मौत के इलाके में उड़ के कफन चले, शुक्रिया दिल से 100